one of many episodes where I'm going to answer a question that's relevant to what's going on today. Currently, I live in Florida, and if you haven't heard, one of the things that's going on in Florida right now is we're having a huge red tide outbreak. And you might wonder, you hear this term red tide, what exactly is red tide?
Come with me as we explore Siesta Key, one of the most beautiful beaches in the United States, during a red tide outbreak. As we are exploring Siesta Key, one of the first things that you might want to know is, what exactly is a red tide? Well, a red tide is a common term that's used for a harmful algal bloom. Now, harmful algal blooms are also called HABs. And what it actually is when you have colonies of algae that grow out of control. And the term red tide specifically refers to blooms of a species of algae, a dinoflagellate, called Carina brevis. Now, why exactly are red tides harmful? Well, they're harmful because they produce toxic and/or harmful effects on people, fish, shellfish, marine animals, and also birds. Some of these effects that you can see are visible, which include, as we're looking down at the beach on Siesta Key, dead fish. You can also find dead sea life. Sometimes the algal bloom can turn the water a reddish or brownish color. But one of the most harmful effects that people will notice that affect humans is that when you're outside in an area, a beach, that has a harmful algal bloom, the algae produces toxins that can make the surrounding air very difficult for you to breathe. Now, it is also possible, but extremely rare, that human illnesses can be caused by HABs, and they can even be fatal. Now, as you look up and down this beach, normally this time of year, it's filled with lots of people visiting, enjoying our beautiful water and sand here. However, because of the red tide, we have had many people decide not to visit our beaches. One thing that you should know is that not all algal blooms are harmful. In actuality, most blooms are beneficial because the algae are tiny plants which are actually food for animals in the ocean. They are a major source of energy that fuels the ocean food web. However, a small percentage, like Carina brevis, will produce powerful toxins that can kill fish, shellfish, mammals, birds, and may directly or indirectly cause illnesses in people. Now, harmful algal blooms also include blooms of non-toxic species that have harmful effects on marine ecosystems. For example, you can end up with a mass of algae that die and decompose. And what this dead algae then does is it can lower the available oxygen in the water that fish and other animals and plants need in order to thrive. Now here is an interview I had with some people visiting Siesta Key.
Hi there, how are you doing today?
Great.
So, where are you guys from? You guys live around here?
We're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wonderful. Is this your first time down here in Siesta Key?
No, this is our favorite beach. We've been down here many times.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what brings you down here?
Vacation.
Oh, that's great. So have you been down here for a while now? How long have you been down here this vacation?
We came down Wednesday evening.
And have you noticed anything different about your trip down here this time?
Oh, definite difference in the surf and sand and the watercolor.
you notice about the red tide? Anything particular that you've noticed along as you're here?
Well, it's really hard to stand out here. Like right now, my throat is itchy and it's hard to breathe and keep coughing.
Yeah, and I mean, just look around and you'll see all the dead fish. We were just talking when we usually come here, we're picking up seashells or going out in the water for sandals and all it is dead fish now.
So this probably hasn't been one of your best vacations down here, huh?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, yesterday we wanted to have a beach day, so we actually had to go up to St. Petersburg beaches, to actually be able to go in the water a little bit and, have clean sand.
That's actually, I live in Tampa, and so they're saying that the red tide's going to come up by us, and it's probably going to progress up there, but we haven't had the effects down here yet.
Right.
But you guys, I hope that, how long are you going to be here for until?
We're leaving in an hour.
Oh, you're leaving in an hour?
Yep.
Okay, well I am so glad that I was able to catch you then.
Yeah,
And
we will be back though.
You will be back.
This is not going to stop us.
That is fantastic. I appreciate it. Thank you
sure.
so much for
All
taking
right.
time to talk with me.
Absolutely.
So, nearly every summer, there's a red tide along Florida's Gulf Coast. And actually, harmful algal blooms have been reported in every United States coastal state. Now, these blooms are national concern because of the health of the local and regional economies are affected, along with the health of people and the marine ecosystems. The current outbreak, as you can see from the map, goes from Collier County and spreads all the way up to Manatee County. And there were actually some reports of Carina brevis in the southwest Florida waters, particularly in Charlotte and Lee counties, as early as October into November and December of 2017 last year. Now, the beginning of August was when we started to see very high levels in Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties. Florida's coasts have experienced red tide outbreaks since as early as the 1840s. However, this outbreak has been the most persistent that we've seen in more than a decade. In Sarasota County alone, government officials have reported that they have collected more than 61 tons of dead fish in the water. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you've learned a little bit more about red tide and how it's affected Florida's Gulf Coast waters. This is the first of my series, Science with Dr. CK, where I will be posting weekly videos on current topics. Please subscribe to my channel and also in the comments suggest topics that would interest you, things that you would want to learn more about. Thank you so much.